Ladies and gentlemen, every morning you face a choice. Drift through the day or dominate it. Your power starts not with coffee, not with emails, but with your mindset. Say these 5 lines and say them with conviction. They're not affirmations, they're declarations. Speak them loud. Feel them in your body. These words build momentum that nothing can stop. Your morning is not just the beginning of your day, it's the ignition switch to your entire life. When you wake up, you are not simply opening your eyes. You are stepping into a new opportunity, a fresh canvas, a battle worth winning. And how you begin determines how far and how fiercely you go. Most people stumble into their mornings half asleep, mentally foggy, already reacting, scrolling through phones, checking emails, rushing into tasks. But that's not how warriors move. That's not how leaders rise. That's how the world trains you to live by default instead of design. To start with intention means to take ownership of your morning minute 1. It means you don't wait to feel good, you decide to be powerful. It's not about routine for the sake of discipline, it's about programming your body, your brain, and your emotions for domination. Intention is not soft, intention is not vague, it's clarity with force. It's a moment of decision that carries you into motion. Before you touch your phone, before you answer to the world, you remind yourself who you are and what this day is about. Starting with intention begins the second your feet hit the ground. It's in your posture, it's in your breathing, it's in the words you speak out loud, the ones that build your state before the world has a chance to shake it. If you don't direct your energy first thing in the morning, it will be hijacked. The world will pull you into its chaos. Someone else's crisis will become your focus. Someone else's opinion will shape your emotions. That's what happens when you operate on autopilot. But when you own your intention, you stop reacting and start creating. What do you want to feel today? What are you committed to producing? Who do you need to become to make it happen? Ask yourself, answer with force, and move. Intention isn't just thinking, it's aligning your thoughts, your movements, and your emotions toward a target. You don't wait for motivation. You create motion, and motivation follows. You tell your nervous system, this is where we're going, this is who we are, this is what we do. You bring that level of energy and clarity into your first hour, and your entire day bends around it. Most people don't lose because they're not smart enough or talented enough. They lose because they drift. They wake up without fire, without command. The morning is where that fire is built. That's where the muscle of discipline is flexed. That's where intention transforms into momentum, and momentum becomes unstoppable force. When you win the morning, you win the day. And winning doesn't mean perfection. It means presence. It means showing up, deciding what matters, and attacking it with purpose. Every powerful day starts the same way, not with luck, but with leadership. Your leadership over yourself. You are not your past. You are not your distractions. You are not the voice in your head telling you it's okay to coast. You are the one who chooses. That's what intention is. Words are not just sounds, they are power. They're the triggers of emotion, the fuel of belief, the spark that lights the fire inside you. Most people throw around affirmations like soft wishes. They whisper things like, I am confident, I am enough, I am successful, but they do it without force, without feeling, without embodiment. That's not enough. That's not how change is created. You don't need passive statements. You need a battle cry. You don't need a mantra, you need a declaration. A declaration is different, it's bold, it's intentional. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't hope to be true. It claims it. When you declare something, you speak it as law, you say it like it's already done. You command your mind, your emotions, your physiology to align with the reality you've chosen. It's not about tricking yourself, it's about training yourself. The words you use are orders to your nervous system. You are either planting weakness or planting strength with every sense that comes out of your mouth. When you whisper affirmations with no fire, your subconscious doesn't believe you. You're repeating lines, not building identity. But when you declare, when you raise your voice, when you put your body into it, your brain wakes up, your cells respond. You shift from doubt to certainty, from hoping to knowing. You stop trying to fix yourself and start activating yourself. You're not broken, you're just not awake yet. Declarations wake you up. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your life depends on it. Say it until it's not just something you're telling yourself, it's something you are. I am in control. I create my results. I attack fear with courage. These aren't just words. They're weapons. And the more you use them, the sharper they get. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about personal power. You don't need power to You're not putting frosting on a rotten cake. You're baking a new one from the ground up with intensity, with focus, and with ownership. Declarations are not cute little phrases to make you feel better. They're anchors that hold you steady when life throws punches. They remind you who you are when the world tries to make you forget. And you can't just say them once and expect transformation. This is repetition. This is rhythm. You do it daily. You do it when you don't feel like it, especially then. Because the moment you feel weak, the moment you feel small, that's when your declaration becomes your weapon. That's when you rise, not retreat. Speak with force. Move your body. Breathe like a warrior. You're not just talking to yourself, you're commanding yourself. You're sculpting your identity. You're drawing a line in the sand and stepping into a new standard. This is how leaders move. This is how champions think. They don't wait to believe. They speak belief into existence. They don't need to feel ready. They declare themselves ready and then act like it's already true. Don't hope your day goes well. Declare how it's going to go. Don't affirm your goals like a maybe. Declare your outcomes like a fact. I own this day. I lead with confidence. I do the hard things first. And then you move like someone who believes it. That's when the world takes notice. That's when results start chasing you. Your words shape your world. So stop whispering. Stop hesitating. Stop waiting to believe. Raise your voice. Own your state. Use declaration, not just affirmation, and build a life that listens. Your body is not separate from your mind. It is your mind in motion. The way you breathe, the way you stand, the way you move. It all sends messages to your brain about how to feel, how to think, and what to believe is possible. If you slump your shoulders, hang your head, speak in a weak tone, and breathe shallow, your brain doesn't ask questions. It obeys. It enters a state of low energy, low focus, and low confidence. That's not mindset. That's body set. Because your physiology is the foundation of your psychology. Most people are trying to change their thoughts while sitting still, slouched over, frozen in fear or stress. You can't think your way into power if your body is signaling weakness. You can't wait to feel good before you move. You move to feel good. You move to feel strong. You move to break the cycle. Emotions don't live in the air, they live in the body. Energy is not something you wait for, it's something you generate through movement, breath, voice, and posture. When you change how you use your body, you change how you feel instantly. Try it. Stand tall, pull your shoulders back, lift your chest. Breathe deep and fast through your nose. Raise your voice, snap into motion, your nervous system lights up, your mind sharpens. That's not fake, it's biology. You are hardwired to shift your mental state through physical change. You don't need motivation to start, you need motion. Once you move with power, the mind follows. The people who lead, the people who dominate their day, they don't sit around waiting to be inspired, they prime themselves. They activate their power through body movement, not just positive thinking. That's why champions warm up before games. That's why fighters bounce on their toes before a fight. That's why confident people walk into rooms with presence. They are telling their nervous system, we're alive, we're ready, we're here to win. You are one motion away from a new mindset, one breath away from a new level of energy, one shift in posture away from courage. The body leads the mind, not the other way around. That's why when you feel fear, you don't sit in it. You move. You walk fast. You stand strong. You use your voice. Because that action shatters the pattern. It tells your brain that the fear isn't in control, you are. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what's stressing you out. If you control your body, you control your focus. If you control your breath, you control your emotions. It's instant, and it's available to you every single day. The problem is most people never use it. They're trying to read books and listen to podcasts, hoping for a shift in mindset while sitting in a chair, frozen. But real change isn't just knowledge, it's activation. You activate your highest self through physical change. Before you set goals, before you visualize, before you try to think positive, shift your state, prime your physiology, get into a place of certainty, not by thinking your way there, but by moving your way there. Train your body to respond with energy even when you feel resistance. That's how you build resilience. That's how you create unstoppable momentum, not by waiting. By leading your body to lead your mind, your posture, your breath, your movement. They're not random habits. They're your tools. Use them. Stand like a leader. Breathe like a warrior. Move like your life depends on it, because the moment you do, the psychology catches up and you become the version of yourself that no longer needs to fake confidence. You embody it. Challenge you conquer is determined not just by what you know, but by the energy you bring to the moment. You can have all the skills, all the strategy, all the tools, but if your energy is off, your results will be too. Energy is the invisible force behind every breakthrough. It's the one thing people ignore while chasing productivity, and it's the reason they burn out or fall short. You don't have a time problem, you have an energy problem. And when you learn to control your energy, you take full control over your outcomes. Energy is not about hype. It's not jumping up and down or pretending to be positive. It's about being in a state of readiness, of focus, of power. It's about being able to shift gears when you need to, being intense when the moment calls for it, being calm when clarity is required. And none of that happens by accident. It's trained. It's built. You don't just wake up and hope you have the energy for what life throws at you. You decide in advance to own your state, and you protect that state like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you show up to a task drained, distracted, or flat, you lose precision. You lose drive. You miss opportunities. You make weaker decisions. You say yes to things that drain you more. It becomes a downward spiral. But when your energy is sharp and centered, you say no to what doesn't serve you. You lock in. You become the one in the room who's dialed in, who's unstoppable, who raises the standard for everyone else. That's not personality. That's energetic leadership. That's personal mastery. The world responds to your energy before it hears your words. People can feel when you're lit up versus when you're running on fumes. And if you want to lead, if you want to perform, if you want to create anything extraordinary, then protecting and generating energy is not optional. It's the job. You don't wait for it. You don't hope for it. You build it. You build it through the way you sleep, the way you breathe, the food you eat, the movement you create, and most importantly, the standards you hold yourself to emotionally. Energy comes from alignment. When your habits support your purpose, when your thoughts line up with your values, when your actions reflect your mission, energy floods in. But when you're out of alignment, saying one thing, doing another, tolerating what drains you, energy bleeds out. Control over energy is not about doing less. It's about choosing better. It's about knowing what fuels you and cutting out what doesn't. That clarity creates fire. That fire drives results. Think about your biggest wins, times you crushed a goal, nailed a performance, overcame a wall. It wasn't because you had more hours in the day. It was because your energy was locked in. You had that presence, that certainty, that internal voltage turned on. That's the zone. And the zone isn't random, it's accessible. But only when you take responsibility for it. You don't need more time, you need better state control. Because when you bring the right energy, time bends around you. Productivity becomes effortless. Conversations shift. Results compound. This is why peak performers obsess over energy. They don't protect their time first. They protect their state. Because they know that no calendar system, no to-do list, no planner in the world matters if you show up tired, scattered, and flat. But when your energy is fierce and focused, anything you touch has impact. Everything you do leaves a mark. Control over energy is control over outcomes. It's the gateway to power, and it's the ultimate competitive advantage. You analyze it, the stronger it becomes. Fear feeds on hesitation, on delay, on your willingness to pause instead of push. It's not thinking that defeats fear, it's doing. Action is the antidote. Movement is the medicine. The second you take a step forward, fear begins to lose its grip. Not because it disappears, but because you stop giving it control. You will never outthink your way through fear. You can read the books, talk to the mentors, write down the pros and cons, but nothing changes until you move. Fear isn't intellectual, it lives in the body. So the answer doesn't live in the mind alone, it lives in motion. You beat fear by stepping into it, not by waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a lie. Waiting for confidence is a lie. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act with fear in the room. The people who get things done aren't fearless. They're not superheroes. They've just learned the truth that action is more powerful than emotion. That doing the thing matters more than feeling perfect before you begin. They've trained themselves to lean in when everything in them says back off. And when they move, everything shifts. Clarity comes. Momentum builds. The voice of fear fades, not because it's silenced, but because it's drowned out by the sound of progress. Fear will always try to stop you at the gate. That's its job. It whispers stories about failure, about rejection, about not being enough. But stories can't stop you unless you believe them. And belief changes through evidence. The moment you take action, you create new evidence. You show yourself what's possible. You prove the fear wrong in real time. And that's where confidence is built, not in theory, but in execution. Fear thrives in stillness. When you sit in it, you start to create all kinds of worst case scenarios in your head. But when you move, even just a little, you regain power. You create a new loop. You replace the question, what if this goes wrong, with what's my next step? That's how you take back control. Not with perfect plans, but with forward movement. Tiny steps, bold moves, constant progress. Most people think they need motivation to take action. That's backward. You take action first and motivation shows up later. You train yourself to move when it's hard, to act when you're uncertain, to jump even when you feel shaky. Because every time you do, you build the muscle of courage. And that muscle changes everything. You start to trust yourself. You start to see yourself differently. You stop identifying with the fear and start identifying with the person who moves anyway. The truth is, fear doesn't mean stop. It means go. It means you're on the edge of growth. It means something important is on the other side. But you'll never reach it if you wait for perfect certainty. That's not how breakthroughs happen. They happen when you're willing to feel uncomfortable and do it anyway. When you're willing to look fear in the face and say, watch me. So act. Act fast. Act messy. Act now. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be forward. That's how fear is beaten. Not in the mind, but in the movement. Not with theory, but with steps. Fear shrinks in the presence of action, and you rise. You rise every time you choose to move instead of freeze. Because action beats fear, always. The right connection or a green light from the world. You are already equipped. Right now, as you are, the tools, the instincts, the grit, it's already in you. The problem isn't a lack of resources. It's a lack of recognition. You've forgotten who you are. Or maybe the world trains you to doubt it. But deep down, under the noise and the pressure and the expectations, your strength is not missing. It's just waiting to be activated. The people who rise, the ones who break through, they don't have something you don't. They just use what they've got. They trust what's inside more than what's outside. They don't wait to be handed permission. They give it to themselves. You've been through things others couldn't survive. You built resilience in silence. You've overcome storms and still shown up. And that's not just survival. That's proof. That's power. That's a track record you can build on. You don't need more time. You need more access. Access to the part of you that already knows how to fight, how to focus, how to lead. The part of you that already has the answers but gets drowned out by fear, overthinking, and comparison. The world will try to convince you you're missing something, that you're not enough yet, that you need to wait until you're more polished, more prepared, more ready. That's a lie. And it's designed to keep you stuck. Because if you forget how powerful you already are, you won't move. You'll hesitate. You'll shrink, but the truth is, you don't need to add anything. You need to unleash what's already there. That fire you feel, that itch to do more, be more, create more, that's not random. That's your potential asking to be used. That's your power knocking at the door, waiting to be let out. And it doesn't require perfection, it requires permission to act, to step up, to go first, to stop waiting for the right circumstances and start becoming the right force. Everything great you've ever seen began with someone deciding they already had enough to begin. There will always be gaps in skill, knowledge, or resources, but those aren't what hold you back. What holds you back is forgetting that resourcefulness beats resources every time. Creativity beats credentials. Hunger beats comfort. You are not behind. You are not unqualified. You are ready. And if you act like you are, the game changes. The results shift. The world adjusts to your certainty. This doesn't mean you won't need to learn or grow. Growth is constant. But growth doesn't mean you're not already equipped. It means you're already powerful and still expanding. That's a different mindset. That's ownership. That's not someday I'll be enough. It's I'm already enough and I'm getting sharper. It's not waiting for confidence. It's deciding to show up with power even when you feel uncertain, because you've got more in you than you're using right now, and it's time to stop holding it back. You have instincts, you have experience, you have perspective no one else has, you have endurance most people can't touch. You've faced down fear before, you've gotten back up, you've kept going, and all of that is armor. All of that is evidence. You're not just prepared, you're dangerous. If you stop playing small, you don't need more proof. You are the proof. So trust your voice, trust your step, trust your fire. You are already equipped to win, and the only thing left to do is move like it. Absolutely. Here's a powerful Tony Robbins inspired ending to the speech, tying all the points together with conviction and drive. Someone else. You already have the power. You already have the tools. And every single morning you get to choose whether you rise into it or shrink away from it. Start with intention. Declare who you are. Command your body. Own your energy. Move through fear. And remember, you are already equipped to win. The difference between an average morning and a legendary one is how you show up. 5 lines, 5 decisions, 5 moments of power that set the tone for everything that follows. You are not here to survive the day. You're here to lead it. So step up, speak up, stand tall, move fast, claim your morning, and you own your life. Let's go.